Last time we left the stunning Portuguese city of Porto behind us and crossed the border into Spain, before hitting some bad weather in emotional times crossing the Spanish Rías, where we sought shelter in the little town of Ribera. This time we press on north in better conditions and finally arrive into A Coruña and spend rather longer there than planned. This is Intrepid Bear, a 40-foot sailboat on her way home after 3 years of adventures.
Join us, Kate and Ian, as we navigate the challenges of voyaging back to the UK.
Probably going to flare out a bit because it's a bit dark still, but we're running the iPad as a second plotter. The charts that are on the chart plotter don't show this tight channel. It's called the Sagres channel, I think, out from the rear, and they don't show it very well at all. If you looked at the charts that are on the plotter, you probably wouldn't even come out here, but on the iPad, on the Navionics charts, it's a lot clearer. So we're running the iPad as a secondary plotter to get out through this really tight little channel. We've timed it so that we can come out just as daylight is rising. So we left the marina in the dark so that it's just getting light when we get here, so we can get through the channel.
Yeah, we've done this channel before, haven't we, when we came down, so we know we can get through here. We throw the needle through here.
That's right. We came in here, but the rocks and everything around here and the tightness of the navigation, particularly out of this little channel, is very, very reminiscent of the Isles of Scilly when we were down there. The rocks look similar and the navigation is that tight when you go in between them, so you have to be on your A game. Anyway, I don't think I've said what we're doing. We've come out of Ribera. We stayed there for 2 nights because the weather didn't look that favourable to move yesterday, although when we went for a walk it didn't look bad, but the forecast didn't look favourable. Today it looks favourable to get round to either Cape Finisterre and stay inside it, or possibly even all the way round to Ria Camariñas. If we can get to Camariñas, then that sets us in a good position to get to Coruña tomorrow, but we'll see how we go. We're not going to push it after the snot fest of 2 days ago. So we're just rounded Cape Finisterre and I was waiting until the next waypoint, but actually I've turned the boat in now to get a better angle to the wind and get a bit closer in. We have done our maximum westerly for this trip up the coast. We're now going to be going slightly east and we've rounded the top corner of Galicia, so we're not coming out anymore, we're now going in, and we'll be in Coruña maybe tomorrow if the weather plays ball, and that's it then. Sit there until we can cross Biscay to France. But this is the coast of death, apart from anything else. Costa de Morte. Right, it's looking quite nice today. So yeah, we've smashed the Portuguese west coast, which was a slog, but I mean, we kind of knew it would be because it's the northerly winds just blow down there all the time. So it was not pleasant, but we've done it.
Been a mission. One hell of a mission. I'm so pleased to have got it.
entering the rear Camariñas. It's a pretty stunning coastline actually. We've been here before, and after some quite lumpy passages down the Costa da Morte, it was absolutely flat calm, which was our first really flat night sleep since Ribadeo, I think. So it's going to be nice to revisit it, but I think the weather's a bit better when we're coming in this time, and it is pretty spectacular. I don't remember this church and lighthouse over here on my starboard side being here before, but I'm sure it was. But yeah, really nice.
So we're in Camariñas. This is just every time we've been here, which is only twice I know, on the way down, the way up. It's been really, really sheltered, really protective, really flat, lovely anchorage. And yeah, we've made it to the north of the north of Spain. Then we're trying to fight up the west coast of Portugal. Just tomorrow's hop round to A Coruña, and then it's across Biscay. So it's been a massive hard slog since we left Gibraltar, and then round Cabo St Vincent, but we've made it. So we're now heading east. And we're going to sleep here tonight and head off tomorrow. But yeah, it's a beautiful place to come. It's a definitely different feel, northern Spain to southern Spain. It feels more English, I suppose, and a bit more French. But yeah, you see a lot of Spanish come to northern Spain to escape the heat of southern Spain. And all the Brits go there in the summer, in August and July. It's 40 degrees. The Spanish, a lot of them got holiday homes up here, and they come up here, northern Spain, where it's cooler. Anyway, we are leaving Camariñas, one of the most flat anchorages that we've ever been in. If you ever find yourself up and down the Galician coast, I'm sure there's conditions when it's not, but it's so protected. I don't know if Ian will insert pictures from avionics here, but it's just so flat. It's amazing. We're off to A Coruña today.
So there we were, A Coruña on the northwest corner of Spain. It was quite a milestone as we had at last completed the Atlantic coasts of Portugal and Spain, and we just needed a 4-day weather window to cross the Bay of Biscay back home to the UK, or maybe to Brest in France. Whilst waiting for that weather window, and waiting, we explored A Coruña, which turned out to be a lovely area. The most well-known feature being the Tower of Hercules lighthouse, which was originally built in the 1st century AD and has functioned and still functions as a lighthouse or navigation mark for over 2,000 years. It is the only example of a Roman lighthouse that is still functioning.
So I'm not sure where we got to. We definitely lost our filming mojo. We lost our whole sailing mojo, quite frankly. But I'm not sure where we got to. We arrived in Coruña over a week ago now. We were in the marina for a little while, which was okay, but it got quite swelly in there. Somehow the swell comes into the bay there and I think bounces around at the bottom. So we came over to this anchorage, which is near Ferrol, which is a town on the north side of the Ria, and it's called the San Felipe anchorage because of the Felipe castle behind me. Cracking anchorage, really flat, calm. You get the occasional wake from pilot boats, but nothing that's gonna, you know, you get bobbed around for a few seconds and that's it, and that's fine. It's really nice. Apart from that, really nice anchorage. But we are getting a little bit frustrated. Sounds like I probably say that a lot, but literally we've been here over a week with no suitable window to sail across Biscay. Some boats did sail across, but the forecast earlier in the week would have taken us across and had 30 knots with 2.5 to 3 meter waves as we approached Brest and the continental shelf. Not really happy with that. I don't know what those conditions would look like, but I didn't fancy it. Since then it's just been northerly the whole time, but now at the end of the forecast, so in another week's time, there's the possibility of it going southerly southwesterly. The prevailing wind here is meant to be in Biscay is meant to be westerly. We haven't seen any of that. So anyway, it looks like it might go in about 7 days time. Right now we're going to hop back across to the marina, and because we need some signal, we need some supplies, and it's going to get windy in this Ria, blowing straight down. It'd probably still be all right, but it's difficult to get ashore if it's really windy. So we're going to go back across to the marina, and that's what we're doing. So we'll wait and see how the weather shapes up from there.
The morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in.
Back in Coruña, we watched and waited and waited and watched as the days rolled into weeks, and the window to get across the Bay of Biscay in time for a family holiday in France slowly closed right in front of our eyes. We took daily walks along the breakwater beside the other marina. We had a visit from friends on a delivery passage on a beautiful Fleming 55 motorboat. Fleming yachts are what I dream of when we get that big lottery win. Whilst conscious that we are still living a life that some dream of, we tried to battle the frustration of being trapped by getting out and exploring as much as we could.
So been in Coruña now for how long?
Standby caller.
And about 10 days. We kind of got
2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks from the time we arrived here to set sail for France, and the weather is just not giving us a break. There was a window the other day when some people did cross, or some other boats did cross, but it was threatening 35 knots going into Brest, which is as you come up on the continental shelf, and all the tides around Brest, so we didn't fancy that. And since then it's just nothing, it's just northerlies the whole time. It's fair to say we did get a bit glum for a few days. I think, you know, every time you do get a bit down every now and again, but then when you're just trapped and you can't move, when you've given yourself every opportunity, every chance to think you'd get a window, we were a bit fed up. Yeah, we've got a family holiday in Normandy in 15th of June, and we were hoping to be in Brest so that we could just drive there, sort of 4-hour drive from Brest. But we're probably going to have to drive from here, which is a 12-13 hour drive, so we'll have to do it over 2 days. It's not the end of the world, it'd be a nice road trip, but it's just frustrating. Day after day, you look at the weather and there's nothing, you look at the weather, there's nothing, then a window appears and then it goes again. It just crushes your morale a little bit. We're just not very patient sailors. But today we kind of, mood's lifted a little bit. We're going for a 10k walk out to some dome, which is a viewpoint. We've come out through the city to the bay here and it's really nice. So you kind of, I think we're kind of reaching an acceptance, perhaps, that
Yeah.
we're here
Do
and
anything about it?
you can't do anything about it. You can't change the weather, but it's almost like the weather is screwing with us. Who puts these viewpoints on the top of hills? We're a bit out of practice. Oh yeah. Apparently this park is kind of the site of an old gun battery, and there are some big guns here apparently. We'll go and see if we can find them in a minute. Built in Britain, tested and then shipped out here. But this cupola thing here is a interactive exhibition for the city and everything like that, and it's links with the sea. Doesn't open until 2 o'clock and it's only like just gone midday now, so we won't be going there, but we'll go and see if we can find these guns in a minute. So, although I haven't seen a sign, these are definitely shells because they've got the rifling on the bottom, which makes the shell spin. And it's as tall as Kate, well, as tall as us. So, it's a big old shell, which I'm sure was the ones fired out of that gun. So we've spouted quite a lot of waffle about why we're going home, what we don't like, but actually the real reason we're going home is the tea bags are empty.
That is it.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
We're doomed
Got to get home
to get tea bags.
before that one's out.
That's kept us going for 2 or 3 years, that bag. Been gifted some along the way.
Yeah, I've got these, so yeah.
But the tea bags are empty, it's time to go home. We're British, don't you know? So, the weather gods have not seen fit to let us out of Coruña to Brest. So we are heading for the airport to pick up a hire car to drive 900 miles to France for the family holiday that we hope to drive 100-150 from Brest to. But we've got to get a bus out to the airport because that's where the hire cars are easiest to pick up and cheapest. Bus out to the airport, pick up a hire car, and then road trip along northern Spain, probably passing some of the places we visited on our way down, and up through coastal central France to somewhere up in Normandy way, I think.
We decided to make the journey to northern France a 3-day road trip and stopped in at a few places along the way. But even breaking it into 3 days, we were still driving 300 miles a day, so there wasn't much time for sightseeing. We arrived to Center Parcs Normandy for a week of fun family time. The French Center Parcs was much like the ones in the UK, with all the same activities. Of particular note was the high ropes course, upon which Kate had another zipline incident. It wasn't as major as the one in Montenegro, where she was left dangling 100 metres above the canyon floor, but nonetheless I think it cemented her resolve never to zipline again.
Oh no, Kate's got stuck in the middle, just like Montenegro, except she's not out in the middle of a gorge, and she can reach up to hand it. Oh god.
€35.
Whilst in France, we also had a day out to visit the house and gardens of the famous artist Monet. The gardens that he constructed and were the subject of some of his famous paintings were beautiful, albeit rather busy. Then there was just the small matter of 900 miles back to the boat in A Coruña in Spain. Along the way we stopped briefly to visit the huge marina and sailing hub of La Rochelle in France, before arriving back to northern Spain, ready to strike out across the Bay of Biscay. Please join us next time for that crossing.